Hare Krishna. Welcome to the lockdown program with Krishna under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill. Today we are reading and discussing the most beautiful Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Hare Krishna Prakash, welcome. Beautiful picture you got here. Radharamanji ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
How are you?
Oh, fine.
Yes. You keeping safe and
recording last class.
Did you get the recording?
Hello?
Did you get the recording from last session?
Yes. Not received.
Not received. I sent a text out on WhatsApp with a link.
Okay.
Have a look on WhatsApp with a link. Today has been sent out.
Okay.
It says, it has a picture of Lord Nrisimha. It says, here is a link for those who missed our last lockdown session. You got that?
Yes.
Yes? Good. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Thanks for you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dham. Are you well, Dham?
Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I'm well.
Hare Krishna. So we have some apologies, Pandava Prabhu and Bhagavati Mataji. I cannot make it. Bhagavati is flying to Poland for her son's wedding or daughter's wedding. I forgot. So important. And so they have to make last minute arrangements, wedding arrangements, flight arrangements, really. So Pandava Prabhu, Bhagavati Mataji, I can come, but they will be here for Nrisimha Chaturdasi. Prakash, we discuss it a bit later also. On Tuesday, the 25th, which is Tuesday, is Nrisimha Chaturdasi, Lord Nrisimha's appearance day. That is an important day. Devotees are generally fasting till dusk. Dusk when the sun is going down, when the sun disappears behind the horizon, that is dusk. And so we fast from solid food. Drinking is okay. And then after dusk, devotees take some prasadam. If one cannot fast, then at least don't eat grains. Just eat light fruit, for instance, some light things, fruit. And at dusk, then there can be a full prasadam served. So that is generally the way which the appearance days of the Lord are celebrated. Jamashtami, it's fasting till midnight. That's even longer, because Krishna appeared at midnight. And tomorrow is Ekadashi. Ekadashi meaning fasting from grains, beans, and pulses, or if someone has a capacity, a full fast as well. That is Mohini Ekadashi. Welcome, Ben. Get ready with the Midangam. Pandava Prabhu, they cannot come tonight. So Mohini Ekadashi tomorrow, fasting from grains, beans, and pulses. So there are many nice alternatives which can be eaten on Ekadashi day. Milk products, of course. I normally cook buckwheat. It sounds buckwheat. It's a wheat, it's a grain, but it's not. It's a seed. It's classified as not grain. So buckwheat is very nice. I just cook it like rice and sabji, vegetable, buckwheat, khichdi. Some devotees, and that is also a good way of what to eat on Ekadashi, they're getting buckwheat flour. And from the buckwheat flour, one can make chapatis. So one can have chapatis also on Ekadashi, buckwheat chapatis, but no grains. So tomorrow Ekadashi, and today is our Saturday session, the 22nd of May. Welcome, Samir. Let me read out apologies. Or not read out, but Nalini Mataji sent her apologies. She is in some prayers tonight for departed family members, so she cannot make it, and she wishes all the devotees very well. And I wrote her back, thank you for setting such a nice example of commitment. So that is nice. I have just got a text message 5 minutes ago from Pandava Prabhu and Bhagavati Mataji. You might know or not that Bhagavati Mataji is flying on Monday or Wednesday or something like that. She's flying to Poland for a wedding. Her daughter, her son, forgot. So there is lots of preparations still to be done of booking the flight and so on. So they cannot make it tonight, both of them. But they will be there for Nrisimha Pranama, which is on Tuesday. So that is two apologies we got. I haven't heard from Amit, I haven't heard from Vaishana or Rashmi. So let's start. Welcome everyone, welcome Prakash, welcome Dharm, welcome Ben, and welcome Samir. Can we have a bit of Kirtan, Ben, to start off the evening?
You mute your microphone.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Did you ask me to do the Kirtan?
I did, yes.
Oh, all right.
Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tenamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskacha Disa Tarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskacha Desatarine Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya
Janavallabha Girvaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradari Yasodanandana Rajajanarandana Yasodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayoradhamadava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jayoradhamadava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradari Yasodhanandana Rajajanarandana Yasodhanandana Rajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayoradhamadava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradari Yasodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radhamadava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radhamadava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Oh, Premanandi Hari 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 Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes, more than okay. Thank you very much. Beautiful Kirtan. Jai Ho Radha Madhava. Srila Prabhupada said this. It's a full description of Vrindavan. Everything is there. A picture of Vrindavan. Jai Ho Radha Madhava. So thank you. Welcome, Amit. It's very nice to see you. Hare Krishna. And just to repeat, you went there. We have apologies from Pandava Prabhu Bhagavati Mataji. They are not they. Bhagavati Mataji is flying to Poland these next days, next week, maybe Wednesday. I'm not quite sure. So they have a lot of preparations to do. But he said, Pandava, they will be there for Nishinga Chaturdasi. We have apologies from Nalini Mataji as well. She is in some prayer meeting tonight for a departed relative, so she cannot make it. And she sends her best wishes to the devotees. Like you, Amit, you always send your best wishes. So Nalini sends her best wishes to the devotees. So that's very nice. So we haven't heard from Vaishana Mataji or Rashmi or anybody else. Hare Krishna. So to start off, we have already started off the evening with a beautiful kirtan from Ben. Thank you. I have a little bit of Nectar. Urmila, she's quite very well known. Urmila Mataji. She is traveling and she is giving classes all over the world. I don't know now in lockdown, but she is a nice, wonderful devotee and good speaker. So she has some memories of Srila Prabhupada, in particular a meeting with Srila Prabhupada. So we'll read that. It's a very nice account. Urmila. I was with my husband and father in Prabhupada's room in Chicago in 1974. And we had a very sweet conversation. At first, Prabhupada thought that my husband was my father's son. And my father said, no, this is my daughter. Prabhupada said, do you have any sons? My father said, no, just daughters, 3 daughters. Prabhupada then told my father the story of Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. Basically, he was telling my father that he was a demon. But my father really appreciated it and he really enjoyed hearing the story. My father said, I have my own religion. Is it all right if I visit the temple, if I have my own religion? And that ties up Samir with what we discussed last session. Said those people who are running the Radha Krishna temple near you, they're saying they're restricting people of coming to the temple by their religion, by their diet, and so on. So here, that Urmila's father, he is asking, is it all right if I visit the temple? I have my own religion. Some places of worship want you to come only if you want to participate. Of course, later my father almost became a devotee, but at this point, this was his first time meeting Srila Prabhupada. And we can imagine Srila Prabhupada's answer. It's not no, he cannot come, he is a meat eater. No, he is not a Hindu, or whichever. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking. Yes, just like there are so many planes going to Chicago, but they have to know that they are going to Chicago, or else what is the meaning of many places? He said, so if you know that the purpose of religion is to know God and to love Him, then you can say that there are so many religions. Of course, we know also Srila Prabhupada saying at one point, if someone thinks there are many religions, then he doesn't know anything about religion, because actually religion there is one, which is love of God. So Urmila continues, I thought about that for many months, that most religions don't say that their goal is to know God and to love Him. They want to go to heaven and they want salvation. And then my father asked Prabhupada, well, I'm really coming just to see my daughter and my son-in-law. Is that okay? In other words, it was the same kind of question, not coming to see Krishna. Prabhupada said, yes, they are loving Krishna. I thought to myself, I don't love Krishna. Prabhupada continued, chanting and dancing are symptoms of loving Krishna. So they are loving Krishna and you are loving them, and two things equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That was very sweet. So Srila Prabhupada always had some way of encouragement. And it's a beautiful, they loving Krishna and you love your daughter, and two things equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That was very sweet. So that he also loves Krishna, or should love Krishna. That was one thing of the things that Prabhupada had said that has really sustained me over the years. I thought Prabhupada saw at least the potential that I could love Krishna. So if Prabhupada said, I love Krishna, someday I will love Krishna. he also really guided me in my relationship with my family, especially the last days in my mother's life when I was thinking, if I could just get my mother attached to me, then gradually move that into attachment to Krishna. My father also asked at that time, why are you so anxious to give everyone your food, even if they do not know anything about your philosophy? That's a good question. Why are the devotees anxious to give the food, even to people who don't know anything about our philosophy? Prabhupada said, do you believe in infection? My father said, yes. Prabhupada said, just like if you eat the food of a sick person, you will be infected with their disease. In the same way, if you eat the food that Krishna has eaten, you will be infected with the Krishna's disease. That isn't that beautiful? This argument I have never heard before. And that is a new argument why people, if the question comes to prasadam, infection, if we contact someone or eat the remnants of someone who has an infection, we will get the infection. So it's the same with Krishna. Krishna has eaten that food, we will be infected with Krishna's disease. So that was really wonderful. When we walked out of the room, my father looked at me and said, now I understand why you have joined this movement. This is a genuine holy man. Hare Krishna. So even her father could appreciate that. Very, very nice little story from Urmila Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, we will move to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Today we have what we have. We have the first canto, chapter 8, which is Queen Kunti's prayers, and text 14. Let me put that in the chat. One moment, text 14, and we will ask Ben to read us the first shloka. So, chat. It's in the chat. So, how is that, Ben? First shloka.
What is chapter?
1814.
1814. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm just. I've got a book here, so I'm looking. I read ahead to chapter 9, so I lost it. All right. Praise to Queen Kunti. Chapter 14.
Chapter 8, text 14.
Yeah. Chapter 8, text 14. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Anta Istaha Sarva Bhutanam Prakma Yogeshwaro Hari Swa Maya Vrenod Garbam Vayaratya Kuru Tantave. Translation. The Supreme Mysticism. Excuse me. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord of the Supreme Mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by His Paramatma feature, His plenary portion. Therefore, from within the body of Uttara, He covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, to whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belonged to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru. Therefore, both of them were generally known as Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were known as Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of the Kurus.
Who is that? The last son of the dynasty?
Of the Kurus? Is that Duryodhana?
The last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of the Kurus. Who is the last son of the dynasty?
Does that mean the youngest son?
The last son, the last remaining son.
Oh, right, because it can mean two things. It could mean the last son that was born.
Yes.
Or it could mean the last son that's left alive after a battle.
I think that last one is probably appropriate here.
So who was the last son?
Yes. My question?
That's my question to you.
Oh, that was my question to you. Who's the last son? Anyway.
Okay. The last son would be ultimately in the womb of Uttara. That's so. I would say Maharaj Parikshit will be the last. Is the last son.
I would also say that. Anyone else has any different understanding? Are there any? I mean, that's straightforward. That text, it explains historical.
I think leading up to this as well, because there was a lot of arrangements made to protect this son from this weapon, from Ashwatam. And if he hadn't have been the last son of the Kurus, then perhaps so much arrangements wouldn't have been necessary.
Yes. Yes, he was the last descendant of the dynasty. Any other question to this verse? Anyone? It appears here that Krishna, that's my understanding. Anybody has a different one, please let me know. It appears that Krishna, as Paramatma, he covered with his energy Parikshit Maharaj in the womb. Because sometimes we may think Krishna comes from outside into the womb, but he was already in the body of Uttara as Paramatma. Is that your understanding also, Rashmi? Of what we're reading right now?
Yes, Prabhuji. That the Paramatma which is there in the heart of Uttara, he expanded himself. So the same expansion protected the womb of Uttara.
Okay. So that is very easy to do for Krishna, isn't it? He's already there.
But Paramatma was already in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit.
He was also in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit, and he was in every atom of the womb as well, and of the body of Uttara, and of the body of there is nothing without Krishna. Isn't that beautiful? Krishna is everywhere, but we don't perceive, or we forget. We don't see him. We don't understand. Everything is Krishna. In one way, is in his energy or himself personally. Okay, thank you, Ben. Is there anyone else has a question to this verse? If not, we're moving on to text 15. Anyway, welcome, Rashmi. I just want to mention, because you went there, we have apologies tonight from Pandava, and Bhagavati Mataji is preparing a flight to Poland for Bhagavati Mataji. And we have apologies from Nalini, who is on a prayer meeting for a departed relative. We haven't heard from Varshana Mataji, so we'll find out. Okay, text 15. Text 15. Rashmi, you want to take that on, text 15?
Did you say text 15, Prabhuji?
Yes. 1815.
Prabhuji, just 1 minute. I'll get my glasses.
Do I need to post the link again?
No, I have got my book. It's just I need my glasses to read.
Amit, I think I have to post the link for you because you weren't there.
No, I can see it, Prabhu.
Okay, the link is in the chat, 14. So you have to just skip ahead one and you be there at 15.
Should I start, Prabhuji?
1815.
Yeah. Yadyapastram brahma shiras tvamogham cha pratikriyam vaishnavam tejasad sadhya sam shamyad brigudvaha.
May I just interrupt you here?
Yes,
I'm really happy, and everybody should take note how you pronounce it when the Y is at the end of the word followed by a vowel. A vowel means A-U-O-E. So that ties over, not yad-yapi astram, yad-yap-yastram. So that you're doing that very nicely. Thank you. Translation.
O Shaunak, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Brahma Jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is resting on Lord Krishna. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord, just as the sun's rays are rays of the sun's disk. So this Brahma weapon, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmastra, released by Ashwatthama, was neutralized and foiled by Lord Krishna by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute.
Thank you very much. Is there anything to say about this text?
Nothing, Prabhuji. It's very clear in the translation and purport.
Yes, maybe just to highlight that Krishna's energy is superior to everything else. So let's go to text 16 then. Who wants to take on 16? What about you, Samir?
Hare Krishna. I can take it on, Fuji. Then my pranams to everyone. Let's get up to it.
May I just, before you start, we have the same situation. I just said with Rashmi, in the first line, the last two words is he and etat. And I said after a Y, if a vowel comes, A, O, U, or E, then it ties over, it becomes one word, not two separate words. So you get the same situation here. Let's see.
Okay. Mam staya haya itad aschari.
Say it again. What is the last two words if you combine them?
Haya itad.
There's no A. Yetat. Yetat.
Itad ascharyam sarvascharayami jute ya idam mayaya devaya.
No, devaya. Not devaya. Devya.
Devya srajatya avat srajatya viti hantaya aje.
This is a very difficult line. You have the first Shri Chatti, and you have a Y and then a vowel. So Shri Chatyavati Hantyacha. So you have two of these tying over. Shri Chatyavati Hantyacha. Quite difficult. Translation
And the puppet by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of God. By His own transcendental energy, He creates, maintains, and annihilates all material things, although He Himself is unborn. Purport. The activities of the Lord are always inconceivable to the tiny brain of the living entities. Nothing is impossible for the Supreme Lord, but all His actions are wonderful for us, and thus He is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. The Lord is the all-powerful, all-perfect personality of Godhead. The Lord is 100% perfect, whereas others, namely Narayan, Brahma, Shiva, the demigods, and all other living beings, possess only different percentages of such perfection. No one is equal to or greater than Him. He is unrivaled.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Can you say a few words about that?
Yeah, it's quite straightforward, really. But just to summarize it, I think basically what they're saying is that the Lord's activities are just can be quite mysterious, and for us, because we are conditioned into this material world, we don't have the capacity to understand the mysterious activities of the Lord. But the Lord can perform anything, and His actions are wonderful. But His limits are unconceivable to us. So it's very beautiful purport actually by Prabhupada, and also this Sheshnag, who's got the how many heads does he have? I forgot now. Is it 1,000?
Yes, usually we hear 1,000 heads of Ananta Shesha or Sheshanag.
So if I was reading that if he was to glorify the Lord with his thousands of heads, it still wouldn't be enough. Even if he did it for eternity, he still wouldn't be able to glorify the Lord the way because the Lord, is limitless. He has no limits to his glories.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Actually, not 1,000 heads, thousands of heads. That would be very limited, 1,000 heads. Correct me if I'm wrong in that. A question. The Lord, Srila Prabhupada writes here, at the end of his purport, the Lord is 100% perfect, where others, namely Narayan, Brahma, Shiva, the demigods, and all other living beings possess only different percentages of such perfection. Bhagavan, 100% Bhagavan, 100% perfect. How many percentage does Narayan, Brahma, Shiva, and other living entities have? When the Lord is 100% and they have less, how many? Where are our scholars here? Who can say? Krishna has 100% the perfection.
I know some of them.
Okay, let's hear.
All right, the living entities got 78.
Correct. 78% of Krishna's opulences, qualities. Yes. What about Narayan?
Well, I think Lord Shiva, he's got about 84.
Exactly 84, yes. And Lord Narayan?
I think Lord Narayan, he's got about 90, or maybe about 92, I would say.
94.
94, okay.
So, Krishna, 100% Bhagavan. Narayan, 94. Then it goes 10% down. Shiva, 84. And all the other living entities, 78. Yes, so that's interesting. Anything else? Anyone has any question to this verse or purport? If not, we go to text 17. Amit, you want to take on text 17?
Yes, I'll take on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very good.
Okay.
Good connection.
Okay, text 17.
Take it slow.
Brahma Tejo Binru Bin Nrisimha Atmaja Saha Krishna Naya.
Krishnaya, yes.
Naya.
Break it down, it's a long word.
Pranam Himuktam Krishna
Yanabhimuktam.
Prayana Nimuktam.
Yeah.
Krishnam Idam Aya.
Not Aya. Aha.
Aha. Idam Aha. Prata.
No, it's a R with a dot under. Prita.
Prita Sati.
Ati. Did you study because your Sanskrit was much more better? Did you study the pronunciation guide?
No, I didn't. But it's come naturally good today.
But you pick it up somehow, Arthur. Okay, very nice. Thank you. Translation.
Okay. Thus say from the radiation of the Brahmastra Kunti, this chastity devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons and Drupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started from home. Purport. Kunti is described herein as Sati, or chastity, chaste, due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod. even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristics of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not, therefore, look for help from imperfect living being, the demigod, but one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it.
Thank you. Well, very nice. Can you make a summary?
Yeah, I think it's quite simple. It's just that you should only look to Lord Krishna for guidance, and not any other demigods.
Yes.
But you don't have to ask for help. If you surrender, he will, automatically help you.
How does Krishna reciprocate? How? I mean, how much? Because you just spoke of as we surrender to him. Our surrender is not necessarily 100%. Our surrender may be 10%, 20, 30, 50, 90, some year.
I think he says he reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. So depending on how much the devotee devotes, then that's how much he would reciprocate.
Yes. It depends how much we are devoted to the Lord, he surrender. There's a Bhagavad Gita verse which I'm trying to find out. Okay, Samir, your hand was up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just going to answer that question, but I answered it, so it's fine. It's proportionate to what we surrender.
Okay, where's the proof? Where's the Bhagavad Gita verse?
It's in the
That's a
Bhagavad
proof.
Gita.
That's an important verse.
As one surrenders unto me, let me just think.
Rashmi, you're a Bhagavad Gita scholar. You have Bhagavad Gita classes.
I don't know the Sanskrit, Prabhuji, but maybe the English I can try. It is as you surrender to me, I reward you accordingly. Is it I carry what you lack and maintain what you have?
No, you're mixing up two verses. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prita. Famous Sanskrit as well. Ye yatamam prapadyante tamstataiva pachamyaham mama varatmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. 4:11. Important verse, very important verse. So that is a proof. Krishna says, like here, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, it's you depending on me. You surrender unto me to set decree, I will reciprocate with you. If we make our own arrangements for our own protection, for our own whatever, maintenance and so on, then Krishna will, we don't give Krishna a chance to supply. That is the other verse which you mixed in. I maintain what they have and supply what they need.
What's the reference for that verse?
Yeyatamam prapadyante 4:11. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prita. So nobody's out of Krishna. But Krishna reciprocates accordingly to our surrender. And everyone follows Krishna's path. There is nothing out of Krishna's path. Okay. Anything else to this verse? It was a nice summary, Amit. Yes, it was an important point that one should not look anywhere else for guidance, and not only guidance, for protection, for everything, for knowledge, for maintenance, for protection, for guidance, for inspiration. Everything comes from Krishna. So we should not, we should depend on Krishna. And the more we depend, Krishna will reciprocate. Look, examples we spoke last time at great length about it, with various examples. You were in Rashmi, so I'll just briefly mention it. Srivas Pandit, who completely depended on the Lord's to maintain him. He was a householder with a big family, and he never went out to work. So he had full faith that Krishna somehow or other will maintain his family. And he just engaged in devotional practices. So that was Prahlad, completely dependent. He didn't make his own arrangement. When he was administered poison, when he was so many things done to him, he just depended on Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated perfectly. So many, many examples. Welcome, Vaishana Mataji. Just to mention, you might wonder why Pandava and Bhagavati are not here. They sent their apologies. Bhagavati is preparing for a flight to Poland, and Nalini Mataji sent her apologies and best wishes to the devotees. She is in a prayer meeting for a departed relative.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I forgot I left my phone home.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Without phone, nothing works. Were you shopping?
No, I just had to go and see somebody to get some stuff. So
okay, Hare Krishna. But we're happy you are here. Normally, you always send a text,
yes.
But send a text not when the meeting has started, because I cannot see that. Because I put my mobile on silent, and we don't want the mobile suddenly blaring off when someone rings me. So try to let me know before 7, and then I can send apologies to everybody. Okay, so anybody has anything more to say about or question about this verse? If not, we move on to text 18. What about Dharm? You want to take on text 18?
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you.
Do mind? We have again here same situation. Just Krishna arranged in such a way that we really get it. So we have Kunti with a Y at the end, and we have a U in the next word, and it becomes one word.
It's Kunti Vacha Namashe Purasham Vadyam Ishvaram Prakrate Param.
Not Prakrate. There's no A.
So it's
There's a A.
So it's Prakrate.
Prakrite. Ri, like Krishna. Prakrite.
Prakrite. Param. Alaksyam Sava Bhutanam Anta Pahe Avashtitam.
Yes, let me just say, when we read the Sanskrit, and it's good we read the Sanskrit, and Bhagavad Gita also, we read the Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita. After some time, when we come Sarva Bhutanam, we know Sarva, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, all, Bhutanam, living entities, I'm sure. Sometimes it doesn't work exactly like that, but most of the time it works. Okay, translation.
Its translation by his Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Śrīmad, O Krishna, wherefore my obedience is unto you, because you are the original personality and are unaffected. You're existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Perfect. Śrīmati Kunti Devi was quite a personality of Godhead. Although he was playing the part of her nephew, such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances unto her nephew. Therefore she addressed him as the Purisha beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendental, neither original nor infallible, the living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature. But the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he is described as the chief among all entities. Nitya, Nityanam, Chetanas, Chetanandam. Then again, he's addressed as Ishvara, or the controller. The living entities, or the demigods, like Chandra or Ishvara. But none of them is the supreme Ishvara, or the ultimate controller. He is the Parameshvara, or the super soul. He is both within and without. Although he was present before Śrīmati Kunti as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord says, I am situated in everybody's heart. Start again. Although he was present before Śrīmati Kunti as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, the Lord says, I am situated in everybody's heart, and only due to me one remembers, forgets, and is cognizant, etc. Well, all the Vedas I am to be known because I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the teacher of the Vedanta. Queen Kunti affirms that the Lord, although within and without all living beings, is still invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, yet he entered within the womb of Uttara and saved her embryo from the attack of Ashvatthama's Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Shri Krishna is all pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both, but he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Lord, Supreme Lord, and it controls a limited vision of the rebellious soul. It is explained as follows.
Thank you very much. Which point? There are a few important points here and concepts. What would you highlight? Say something about one of the important points.
Okay, it's about Krishna, whether he's omnipresent or everywhere, or is he present within somebody's soul? So is he resident within? So Queen Kunti was a bit puzzled about how could he be both at the same time. But the conclusion is that the Lord is supreme. He decides when he can manifest or appear to souls, but he only exposes himself to souls who are surrendered or engaged in a degree of devotional service. So that's one of the points.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. Anyone has any answer of any Bhagavad Gita verse of Krishna not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls? Krishna reserves the right. There must be some Bhagavad Gita statement. If anybody can find that, that would be great. And in the meantime, Samir, Rashmi, Ben, Vashana, have a look if you find that verse. In the meantime, quite an amazing statement. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all-pervasive or localized. So, if Kunti is puzzled, what do you speak about us? And Srila Prabhupada says, in fact, he is both. How do we understand that he is both? Because in our mundane logic and understanding, this is a contradiction. To be all-pervasive or to be localized. All-pervasive means to being everywhere, and localized means to being in one place. So, everywhere in one place, how we can reconcile that? From the philosophical point, who can say? Rashmi, what about you? Of course, we accept that statement that Krishna is both, but how do we? Samir.
Is it the example of the sun and the sunshine?
That's a very nice example, yes. That is correct. Sun and sunshine, one and different. What's the philosophical background to that, Rashmi? You wanted to just say that, but Samir was so quick raising his hand. What's the philosophy behind that? What is it called? Lord Chaitanya's
Bheda Chintya.
Achintya Bhed Abhed Tattva. Yes. Achintya Bhed Abhed.
Simultaneously one but different.
Yes. And Achintya, what is Achintya? Achintya?
Inconceivable.
Oh, not both at the same time. Rashmi, what you said? Achintya? Ben, what did you say? Achintya? What is Achintya?
Achintya means inconceivable.
Yes. Inconceivable. So, if it's inconceivable, one and different, like the nice example which Samir gave, which Srila Prabhupada's example with the sun and the rays of the sun, then there is not very amazing that Kunti was puzzled about that. Okay. Anyone found that Bhagavad Gita verse where Krishna says, I reserve the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls? Or I don't reveal myself. There is a verse, I know. Anyone?
Prabhuji, what's your question? Sorry.
What is a Bhagavad Gita verse where Krishna says, I found one verse. I found one verse, but it's not the one that you mean, but it's very similar.
What's that verse?
It's chapter 7, text 25. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent, For them I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Yoga Maya, and so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible.
That verse fits perfectly. I'm not, Krishna doesn't, he reserves a right not being exposed to persons, to the foolish and unintelligent, because the foolish and unintelligent, they don't surrender to Krishna. So, Krishna's Yoga Maya curtain. Anything else? What about this 15:15, what is earlier mentioned? Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Anyone you got that? Ben, you got that? 15:15, can you read it? What's the Sanskrit? Anyone got that?
Got it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
But I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Yes, exactly. What's the Sanskrit? Vedanta Vid.
Sarvasya chaham hride sanivishto mata smritir gyanam apohanam cha. Vedayascha sarveraham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham.
Yes, beautiful verse. 15:15.
There is another verse, though, where Krishna does directly say, I am not revealed to anyone and everyone. I think it's in the 18th chapter.
If you find it later on, let us know. Anyone has any further question or comment to this verse? If not, let's go to text 19. What about Varshana Mataji? Would you like to read text 19 to us?
I don't have anything on my chat area. So
oh, yes, because you were late. One moment.
It's okay. I'll just listen. That's fine.
I can put it in the chat area.
It's okay. I'll let somebody else do it. I'll just listen today.
You listened already last time.
I know. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. But anyway, here is the text. For everyone, 19, you can at least follow it. Who wants to take on text 19? Let's start. Oh, Samir, okay.
Oh, if everyone's had a go, why don't you read it from?
You always say that. Okay, why not, sir? Hare Krishna. Oh, you're giving me a difficult Sanskrit word. Okay. Text 19, 1:8:19. Maya Chavanikachanam Agyadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Mudhadrisha Nato Natyadaro Yata. Translation. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna affirms that less intelligent persons mistake him to be an ordinary man like us. And we're coming in a moment to that Bhagavad Gita verse. So if anybody wants to find that in the meantime, go ahead. And thus they deride him. The same is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are those who rebel against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as asuras. The asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority. when the Lord himself appears amongst us as Rama, Nrisimha, Varaha, or in his original form as Krishna, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. As we shall find in the 10th canto of this great literature, Lord Shri Krishna exhibited his humanly impossible activities even from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed the Putana witch, also she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and he sucked out her very life also. Similarly, he lifted the Govardhan hill just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella, and stood several days continuously just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavan. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasas, histories, and Upanishads. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of the Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and as a renouncer. He is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities as Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Narada, Madhava, Shankara, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Shiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and all other authorities of the line. He himself has declared as much in many places of the authentic literature. And yet there is a class of men with demoniac mentality who are always reluctant to accept the Lord as a supreme absolute truth. This is partially due to their pure fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy, which results from various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord Shri Krishna even when he was present before them. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize him as the Supreme Lord. Such persons are like some modern scientists. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge, but it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described herein as adokshacha, or beyond the range of experimental knowledge. All our senses are imperfect. We claim to observe everything and anything, but we must admit that we can observe things under certain material conditions only, which are also beyond our control. The Lord is beyond the observation of sense perception. Queen Kunti accepts this deficiency of the conditioned soul, especially of the woman class who are less intelligent. For less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, or churches, so that they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about him from authorities in such holy places. For less intelligent men, this beginning of spiritual life is essential, and only foolish men decry the establishment of such places of worship which are required to raise the standard of spiritual attributes for the mass of people. For less intelligent persons, bowing down before the authority of the Lord, as generally done in the temples, mosques, and churches, is as beneficial as it is for the advanced devotees to meditate upon him by active service. Wow, what a purport, Hare Krishna. Beautiful. There are quite a few points. What is my question to anybody? Srila Prabhupada speaks here, just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella. What's a frog's umbrella? I have no idea. That's an English expression. Anyone knows? Ben, English, Rashmi, Vashana, Samir, Dan, what's a frog's umbrella? I never heard of a frog's umbrella. Anyone can help out? Ben, what do you say? What's a frog's umbrella?
I got no idea.
Neither do I. Maybe I have seen pictures of the weather frog climbing out of the jar on a ladder and holding an umbrella. That is one.
Oh, I maybe, you know what it could be?
Yeah.
Sometimes a frog, he puts his leg over his head and stretches his because they have like webbed feet, so he kind of stretches it over his head. So that's the only thing I could think is a frog's umbrella.
Yes, but here the sentence says, he lifted the Govardhan hill just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella. Would a boy pick up the leg of the frog? I don't know. It sounds a bit strange. Anyway, that's something to think about. Interesting. Anything else? There is a Bhagavad Gita verse where Arjuna speaks to Lord Krishna that, what's that verse? Where also is mentioned other authorities, personalities, like Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Narada, Madhava. Who can say? Where Krishna's authority is confirmed.
It's like there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita that...
that's what I'm after.
Yeah, it states that Arjuna states that that all the great sages have confirmed.
Yes, that's a verse. Famous verse, a very, very, very important verse.
I think it's in chapter 2 or chapter 3.
It's
I don't know exactly where.
No, 10, 12, 13. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma. That's a very, very important verse of the Gita. Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Param Bhavan. And so on.
Oh, I've got it actually. I was actually on it, yeah.
Yes.
Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Majam Vibhum Rahusvam Rishyaya Sarve Devasir Naradas Tata Asito Devalo Vyasa Svayam Chaiva Bravishimi. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode and the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me.
Yes, that is a very important verse, and in its purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that one may be thinking, said, Arjuna says, Krishna, you are the Param Brahma Param Dharma. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maybe Arjuna is saying that because he is Krishna's friend. One may think like that, but then Srila Prabhupada said, therefore Arjuna said that is not just Arjuna's own statement, that is confirmed. Like everything, when we reading in the Bhagavatam, we always come back to Bhagavad Gita to confirm a certain statement. So that statement of Arjuna is confirmed by all the great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyas. They confirm that Krishna is the Param Brahma Param Dhamma, Pavitram Param Bhavan. the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, that is very important. Then,
because like in history as well, lots of people they've claimed to be God. Like for instance, in history, like Roman Empire emperors, they claim to be like self-made gods. In Egyptian culture, the pharaohs they claimed to be gods, but you don't have any like lineage or anyone saying that there's anyone previously saying that that person is God, like Arjuna is doing here, confirming it. But actually, he's citing all these great personalities who are confirming this fact as well.
yes, I would add to, if you speak about the Egyptian pharaohs and so on, like the great rulers, the great kings originally, but later on it has degenerated, all of that. They were actually worshipped like God because they were a representative of God. So that is different than someone some yogi declaring himself to be an incarnation or something. So after some time, and with the progress of time and the Kali Yuga, the representative of God have strayed away from the path of devotional service, and they were not representing God then.
Because there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think it's Opulence of the Absolute, when Krishna states that of men he is the monarch.
Yes, so that supports that point.
He is the monarch.
Yes, there's an intimate connection between a proper king, a proper monarch. That doesn't hardly apply today because there is no proper monarch. One monarch, one king must be a Raja Rishi, a saintly king like Parikshit Maharaja, and so on. Great, Prithu Maharaj, and so on. Okay, what else, sir? What else does this verse I have highlighted?
Do you want the Bhagavad Gita verse?
Yes, please.
It's I don't know what, I took a screenshot, but I didn't get the chapter, but it's text 11. And it's...
just read it.
Avajananti mam muda manushim tanum ashritam parambhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be.
That's actually a very important verse, very well-known verse, Sanskrit and translation. So, yes, the fools deride Krishna when he comes in his human form. And Krishna doesn't reveal himself. So we spoke about that many times before. There were basically only 5 people who really understood who Krishna really was, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these 5 people were the 5 Pandavas. No wonder that Krishna reciprocated in full with the 5 Pandavas. There is one other interesting points here in Srila Prabhupada writes, for less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, or churches, so that they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about him from authorities, and so on and so on. So what does that mean? We've said temples and mosques and churches are for the less intelligent. So what about more intelligent? And of course, Srila Prabhupada says, this beginning from spiritual life is essential.
Is it that the more you become, these are like more like for neophytes and Kanishta, Adhikari type devotees who are at the beginning of spiritual life and progress, and someone who's made further progress because their realization is deepening and expanding. They have the realization that these things are not necessary, because they have the realization that that God is in their heart and that God is everywhere.
Okay, Rashmi, what do you want to say to this before I say something?
Prabhuji, you asked about, your question was that why Prabhupada has written that about the temples and mosques.
Yes,
No?
and churches.
Churches, yeah. So the person Bhagavat will be, so we, the more intelligent people, maybe because they come into contact with the books, so the book Bhagavat. But people who are less fortunate, they will have, when they go to the temples, mosques, churches, etc., they come into contact with the person Bhagavat. And then because of that person Bhagavat, then they get the same knowledge which the book Bhagavat is giving. Gradually, they can also get enlightened.
What's the difference between person Bhagavat and book Bhagavat, Rashmi?
The person Bhagavat can, they may not, it may be, I'm just making a hypothetical situation that there is no person Bhagavat left, but the book Bhagavat will always be there.
That is one thing, but what is the difference between person Bhagavat and book Bhagavat? If they're both present, what's the difference?
There is no difference, no?
Absolutely, there's no difference.
Pure devotee.
There's no difference. Person Bhagavat means the pure devotee, in book Bhagavat, there's no difference. So what it means, and what you touched on it, Ben, that it sounds almost like the temples and the mosques and the churches are not important. They're very important for people who are coming to attract people to Krishna consciousness, where people can offer obeisances and so on. And Ben, you mentioned Kanishta, beginners, sometimes also translated as materialistic devotees. They're not really devotees, but because Krishna is there, they're counted amongst the devotees. So Kanishta. The important point is a Kanishta, which most people are, a Kanishta Adhikari, a neophyte devotee, he will see Krishna only in the temple, exclusively. He will not see, he has not that deep realization that Krishna is in the heart of all living entities. So he may be in the temple and following the arti and the rituals and everything. Again, that is not anywhere to mean to say that these things should be neglected. Srila Prabhupada never neglected coming in front of the deities and bowing down, and he established so many temples and so on. So these things, even for the advanced pure devotee, these things are not neglected because he shows it an example by his, that means acharya, by his personal behavior. So, but the neophyte devotee, they may go to the temple, to the mosque, to the churches, and when they're out of the places of worship, they quarrel with everybody else. They don't understand Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. They see Krishna only in the temple. And after coming out of the temple, they're doing all kinds of sinful activities. Very interesting. That stayed with me for a long time. I was a young boy. Later on, I was an altar boy. But even before that, we always had to go to church. My father always insisted on Sunday we had to go to church. Even sometimes he didn't go, but we had to go. So I found that hypocritical. first. But I observed what is going on in the church. And the priest was lecturing from his lectern. And after the Sunday Mass was finished, the people, not all, but a good, particular those who stood behind, where the entrance and exit was, they always kept behind. They never kept in front. And when hardly the church was finished, some even left earlier, quietly. And they went, and just opposite the church, they went to the pub and drinking beer and all of that. I mean, amazing. It was just a convention to go to the church. They hadn't learned anything in the church. And out of the church and sinful activities, sinful life starts straight away. And when it comes to confessions, Srila Prabhupada made quite some point about that. Don't become like the Christians, meaning you're confessing your sin, and that is a very a bona fide process to a priest, confessing your sins, and he gives you some measures of counteracting, chant the rosaries on so many times, and so on. Prayashchitta, and then you do that, and you go into confessions once a week, and the next week it's just the same confession again, and it's the same confession, it's the same, and the same, and the sinful habits staying with you, and you confess, and the priest is absolving you, and then you just carry on. So that's what means when Srila Prabhupada said, don't become like the Christian. That's an offense, to maintain a material attachment even after hearing so many instructions on this matter. So that's a 10th offense against the holy name. And that is a big offense to chanting Hare Krishna on the strength of the holy name as well, and committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So this is a Kanishta who quarrels with everybody, who can see Krishna only in the temple. Out of the temple, sinful life immediately starts off again. The Madhyama, the middle, more advanced, deeper devotee, he can see Krishna in the heart of all living entities. He will not quarrel with other devotees. He respects the temple, and he respects and bows down and everything to the deities and all of that. But he also sees Krishna in the heart of all the other devotees. In fact, that is an indication to see if someone's advancement. If devotee is nicely dressed, of course, there's a saying, tilak and dhoti does not make a devotee, so that doesn't mean the external, doesn't mean really very much. But if one wants to see someone's spiritual progress, we're looking at if how the devotees acting with other devotees, and not only with other devotees, with all living entities. Right? If we quarrel with devotees, we criticize devotees, we argue with devotees, then where is the vision of seeing Krishna in the heart, especially of his devotees, but all living entities, all other people? So that is an indication for one's spiritual advancement. You only see Krishna in the temple, and to worship Krishna is a murti, archa, vigraha in the temple, and that is Krishna and nothing else. So that is a Kanishta, that's a Madhyama, and the Uttama Adhikari is a highly, most advanced devotee and pure devotee. He sees Krishna everywhere, all the time. So that is perhaps an important point to mention why Srila Prabhupada writes here. For less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, and churches, and so on. And less intelligent means people who don't surrender fully to the Lord. Right, what else? Anything else? Any question, any comments on this topic? Last week we mentioned Trinata Pisunichena said, in this state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. And we analyzed, so if one cannot chant the holy name of the constantly, then that humility, that Trinata Pisunichena, that tolerance, that is just not matured, that is not fully developed. Otherwise, we would be able to chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So that ties in with what just has been said. Who just left? I get always a sound, but I'm not quite sure who left. Amit left some time ago. Okay.
Varsana left. Varsana.
All right. No, Vashana is here.
Oh, sorry, Varsana is here.
Who left? Who's missing?
Oh, Devendra.
Oh, yes, he got booted out probably. Okay, what else can be said about this text 19? Or shall we move on? We can do one more text, 20. Okay, who's taking on text 20? Rashmi, back to you. Sorry, Ben. Rashmi Mataji.
Prabhuji, Ben wants to read. Why don't you ask Ben to read?
Because I ask you first before Ben unmuted his microphone. First served first, or whatever.
Oh, Rashmi, I don't mind. You can read it. It's all right. I don't mind. I just thought it was like back to the beginning again. So that's why I jumped in. But if you would like to read it, that's perfectly okay.
And I have already forgotten what was a cue from the beginning. I guess it was you, Ben. Okay, Rashmi, go ahead. Text 20.
Tatha parmahansanam muninanam amalat amal atmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyema histriya. Translation: you yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service onto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Prabhuji, do you mind if I read this again?
Please, yes.
You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service onto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Purport: even the greatest philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. It is said in the Upanishads that the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, is beyond the range of the thinking power of the greatest philosopher. He is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. He is knowable only by one who has his mercy. Others may go on thinking about him for years altogether, yet he is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by the queen, who is playing the part of an innocent woman. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor only to one who is a great philosopher. he knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor.
Oh, strong words, sir. Yes? Say something about it, Rashmi.
There's lots of little points here, Prabhuji. Of course, it's mainly about the women. Kunti Devi is saying that if you look at the translation, that women are they are considered less intelligent. They are innocent-hearted. They don't have the ability to discriminate. So, how then can they know? How will they understand? How will they understand all this science, this difference between matter and spirit? Because even the people who have the yogis, the bhakti yogis, or the philosophers, the mental speculators, even they can understand this knowledge only by the Lord's when the Lord decides to descend into the hearts of these people, when the Lord basically shows his mercy. So Queen Kunti is now questioning Krishna that how then we women, we are nowhere near these yogis or even these mental speculators. So how will we understand you? So she's playing the part of a unintelligent woman. So that was one point, and that was what the translation was. And here, it said somewhere in the middle that the women they will just where is it? They offer obeisances without reservation. So in today's in the Bhagavad Gita verse which we were doing in chapter 3, Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna is looking for. I'm making this in my own words, Prabhuji. This is not how Prabhupada has written in the purport. Basically,
That's
what I understood was from that purport that Krishna is looking for no consideration is to be given. If Krishna has said it, then it has to be done. For example, this example was given in the class that in the battle of Kurukshetra, in the middle of the night, when Bhishma Pitama has taken a vow now, because Duryodhana is now chastising him that you are my military commander, but you seem to be not wanting to kill your 5 favorite grandsons. So Bhishma Pitama takes a vow that tomorrow I will kill one of them. So Krishna, of course, he's in the heart of everyone. He knows this. So he goes to Draupadi's tent in the middle of the night, and he tells her that come with me. Now he just told her come with me. It is the middle of the night. She's a Kshatriya's wife. This is against all even today's moral conducts. In the middle of the night, another man is telling you come with me without consideration, without questioning. She just asked. She did not question him. Where are we going in the middle of? It's past midnight. Where are we going? Why are we going? She did not question anything. She just went with him, and then the rest of the katha, So this was her. This was her 100% surrender to Krishna. There was no question why I should go, where I should go. So without consideration, women tend to offer respect obeisances without reservation.
Thank you. Very nice. That is a very important point. There is a saying, women are easily led, as you just explained, but are also easily misled. Therefore, the responsibility of men, and particularly the husband, is very, very important. That he's leading properly and not misleading. And then there will be a very, very fruitful spiritual family life and spiritual advancement for everybody. Yes, these things are very important, and churches women are there, they're simple-minded. They may not have the discrimination of the philosophers between spirit and matter and so on. But for Krishna, that is much more appreciated than the showy behavior. There are many false ego-driven men who make a show out of their religiosity. So Krishna he knows very well. And anybody who has a little bit of discriminative powers, he can also see if someone is just, sometimes we say he's a showman. When we read recently a very nice story of some devotees did some orchestrated kirtans. They were very good at it. The singer had a very nice voice, and it was orchestrated. It was a show, so to speak. And Srila Prabhupada sat on his Vyasa-san, and then they started the kirtan. And then Srila Prabhupada, after a very short time, he said, "Stop the kirtan. Stop the kirtan." And they froze. And then Srila Prabhupada, "Nitai chant Goswami, you chant." And so Srila Prabhupada didn't tolerate any pride in his devotees. He wanted them as pure water, so to speak. So if someone is a showman, making a show of devotional service, not only kirtan, in any aspect of devotional service, that is not very advanced. And anyone who has some discrimination can see that. That's just a show. In kirtan, in this, in that, it's just a show. Krishna doesn't appreciate a show. Krishna knows it is a show. And devotees who are a little bit advanced, they also know it's a show. So better a simple-hearted woman who offers her obeisances and so on. She may not have any philosophical, may not be a philosopher or anything like that, but that is much more appreciated by Krishna. Rashmi, your microphone is on. Do you want to say something?
Prabhuji, I found the exact purport. That purport is very nice. And it's a very stern purport by Prabhupada. It's chapter 3, text 30. I'll just read that particular line. Okay. This entire purport is very stern order which Prabhupada is giving. It's about discipline, the gist. But here it says, Arjun did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He simply had only to execute his order. Yes, very nice. And that is also what we recently discussed. The same with Krishna here, the same what you said, we just execute the order. The same counts for the spiritual master too. There is no question of questioning the spiritual master, why and this and that. It's just following the orders of the spiritual master. That's what Srila Prabhupada has done with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and that's what we're doing with our respective spiritual master. Of just there is no questioning. Questions we can ask for advancement, yes, but there is no argument, and we must. As that example from the Mahabharata, this lady, she was not questioning why in the middle of the night. So just follow Krishna's instructions. So in the same way, we're following Srila Prabhupada's instructions fully. We must find such a person, a pure devotee, who we can fully surrender without questioning, without any doubt. And at that time I mentioned, and I say that again, not out of pride or anything, just it came very natural to me, just as a way for others to understand. I have never ever since I was 75 or something like that,
never, from the day one, I received the Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, Mataji. Mataji. She was my Vartma Darshika Guru. Forgot her name now. She gave me Bhagavad Gita, German, big, red, beautiful Bhagavad Gita. From the moment I read this Bhagavad Gita, I have never, ever once questioned any instructions, any explanation, anything ever. So that is the mentality we need to all have, not questioning the spiritual master ever. And we read the other day also a beautiful way when a devotee was coming into assembly, into a darshan with Srila Prabhupada, with a Mahablade, and he couldn't get in. There was just so many devotees there, and he was a big body as well. There was no space, and he said, I'll distribute the fruit offering when the devotees leave. And Srila Prabhupada said, they will never leave. So, and the devotee who told that story, he said, that is a fact. So Srila Prabhupada will never let us leave. That is a fact. If we have ever surrendered to the spiritual master, he will never let us leave. Without Srila Prabhupada's permission, we can never even leave him. Why? He has tied us with the ropes of love. That's all. And on this note, we stop and have the Nrisimha prayers. Varshana Mataji, you may not have read Bhagavatam today, but please lead us into some Nrisimha prayers.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Nrisimhaya Praladladayine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Shrilatankanakalaye. Namaste Nrisimhaya Praladladayine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Shrilatankanakalaye. Ito Nrisimha parito Nrisimho Yato yato yamito Nrisimha Bahi Nrisimho hridaye Nrisimho Nrisimhamadim sharanam prapade. Ito Nrisimha parito Nrisimho Yato yato yamito Nrisimha Bahi Nrisimho hridaye Nrisimho Nrisimhamadim sharanam prapade. Tava kar kamalavare nakhamadbhut sringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubrengam keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare. Tava kar kamalavare nakhamadbhut sringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubrengam keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare. Oh Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Nrisimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrisimhadev. Nrsimhadev Jaya Narahari 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 Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Nrsimha Jaya Lakshmi Nrsimha Jaya Lakshmi Nrsimha Jaya Lakshmi Nrsimha Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nrsimha Dev ki jai Prahlad Maharaj ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Hare Krishna. Now you just have to learn to play the harmonium, and you play with the harmonium and sing along. That would be very nice, wouldn't it? Or Mridangam would be also okay. Hare Krishna.
One day, maybe.
Yeah, no, everything can be learned. Hare Krishna. Okay, quick question here. On Tuesday is Nrisimha Chaturdasi, and I would assume we moving our program from Wednesday to Tuesday. Is that okay with everybody else?
That should be fine.
Ben, Rashmi, Samir, Amit, yes. Show your thumb up if that is okay. Same time, 7 o'clock in the evening. Yes, Samir, okay. Rashmi, what about you? Dan, what about you?
What did you say?
The question is, we're moving our program next Wednesday, a day earlier to Tuesday for Nrisimha Chaturdasi. Is that okay?
Babuji, I can't make it.
Rashmi, what?
No, Babuji, I can't make it. I work on a Tuesday, so for me it'll be impossible.
Right.
I don't even get home till 5, and then I have to cook. I have my rounds to do, so I will not be able to make it.
What about everybody else? What about Dharm? You wanted to say something. Okay. Samir. Thumbs up or down. Dharm?
I already put my thumbs up.
Okay. So is that what we shall then do? Or shall we just celebrate on the Wednesday? Anyone has to say something?
Doesn't really matter, really, but I mean, you know, we can either do a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Okay, it doesn't matter to you. Okay, what about Ben, Samir, Amit? Amit, you have usually difficulties midweek. But what about Nrisimha Chaturdasi, appearance of Lord Nrisimhadev with special offerings and. What do you say, Amit?
Yeah, Tuesday is better for me this week. We used to play football on Tuesdays, but it's moved to Wednesday now.
All right. So Tuesday is better. So what shall we do?
I think it's better to do it on Tuesday, on the actual day itself.
It would be wonderful, yes. And there is fasting till dusk. Why is there fasting till dusk, Dharm? Why not till moonrise?
Lord Krishna, midnight.
Why not midnight? Why till dusk? You should know, because we spoke about it at the very beginning of the program. Rashmi, why till dusk fasting?
Is that because it coincides with the appearance of Lord Nrisimhadev?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that
because
was twilight. It was not dusk.
same thing. Twilight and dusk is the same thing.
Twilight means dusk.
Twilight means the
Yes.
time between light and dark, when the sun is setting, and that is dusk.
Oh, dusk. Oh, I thought dusk was in the morning.
Oh, no, that is, there can be
That's
also
dawn.
dawn, yes.
Dawn.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So, okay, we'll take it then on Tuesday.
No,
Maybe Rashmi.
No. I know another reason why dusk is important.
Why?
Because that's the time that he killed the demon Hiranyakasipu.
Yeah, that's when the Lord appeared and killed the demon Hiranyakashipu. And after the demon is killed, and Prahlad has satisfied the Lord with his prayers, then we can take prasadam. And if someone cannot fast, then just take some fruits or something light, no grains at least. Okay.
Why did he appear at dusk?
Oh,
dusk?
You know that story. You don't have to ask her. I shall not be killed in the day and not at night and not in the house, not out of the house, not by any, and so on. That we know. Lord Brahma's benediction. And what did Lord Nrisimha say? Don't give any more these type of benedictions to demons. You're just causing trouble. Okay, are we taking it then? We'll celebrate on Tuesday. Maybe on the actual appearance day of the Lord. Maybe there is a way, Rashmi, you can make some arrangements, or at least come for some time or a little bit later popping in, something like that. Let's see what can be done. I'm still struggling with Prahlad's prayers because there are so many. I'm trying to condense it down and down because it has to be condensed down. So tomorrow is my last chance of doing it. If I don't do it, getting really ready the script for tomorrow, we won't have the play. So tomorrow, I hope very much I can condense it down. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp with your different roles, and you need to send it back to me by Monday. And I need to put it all together. I have some video footage, and some background music, so that shouldn't take too much time. And Ben, your role is clear. You are the narrator, and I will assign different other roles to different devotees. So expect to get the script tomorrow, and I expect the script, your recording, by latest Monday. And we'll take it from there. And then we can have the video on Tuesday. Okay, here we stop.
There was one important question that needed to be asked in that text,
Please ask.
Like it said, like the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. So the question is, what did he mean by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit?
Okay, there is some philosophers, they're saying neti, neti, neti. Did you hear that before? Neti, neti, neti. Not this, not this, not this. They're trying to find the Lord by eliminating this is not the Lord, and this is not, and this is not, and this is material, and this is material, until they hopefully come to the essence. It's just like you trying to find out who is your father, and you're making inquiry, empirical research. That cannot be my father. No, let's go to this person. That cannot be my father. That person. Let's make a DNA test. No, that's negative. Until you come to that person who is your father. So, neti. Everything is not this, not this, not that, until there is only one person left. That's Krishna. But that is a philosophical speculation path, which Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many birth and death. Then they will also come and surrender to Krishna. But that's a long way. The short way is just accepting a spiritual master, a pure devotee, and surrender to Krishna, surrender to him and surrender to Krishna. So to discriminate between matter and spirit is very important. That discriminatory power we must have. And it was earlier in the purport pointed in this direction as well. We have to know, and it's not that easy, what is matter, what is spirit. Sometimes something is material and it appears to be spiritual. And sometimes something is spiritual but appears to be material. So by good hearing from authority, from the pure devotee, by hearing from Srila Prabhupada, deeply hearing, in due course of time we're learning how to discriminate what is material, what is spiritual. And by said discrimination, one makes advancement. Even the mental speculators, if they discriminate between matter and spirit, by dealing with that matter and spirit, they're making advancement. Does that answer your question?
A little bit. You know what, as well, you know, well, Prabhupada, he said recently that Krishna can change matter into spirit.
Yes, he does it all the time when we offer prasad.
Oh, right. Okay. That's a good example.
Yes, that's the best example. But that's not the only example. He does it in many other ways as well.
No.
And we can change spirit into matter by our own ignorance.
We can change spirit into matter.
Yes, we are very expert. Even if we eat prasadam, spiritual, but we see the prasadam with a material mentality, and we think it's just food, and we just eat it because of the taste. Then we basically changing spirit into matter by our own ignorance.
So what if someone who doesn't have any idea, but they eat prasad, they still benefit from the prasadam?
Yes.
But they're not eating it thinking, oh, this is spiritual food.
Yes, they make advancements.
They're thinking this is just food, ordinary food.
Just the same when someone hears Hare Krishna, and Agyata Sukriti, unintentional. What to speak of if we're really conscious what it is. If we're conscious. So Srila Prabhupada, I was reading the other day, Srila Prabhupada, 90% of the time, he was eating prasad alone, right? Not talking or in meetings or socializing or anything. He was relishing Krishna in the form of prasadam. And generally, when he took a meal, it took him 45 minutes. And it described he relished the prasadam. He concentrated on the prasadam. It's a meditation. And we all know that if we're eating consciously, even in the material way, we're eating consciously, we're digesting much more better than we eating and talking and before we know we have eaten or too much eaten and not properly chewed and all of that. So many problems.
So, I mean, Prabhupada being a pure devotee, so even his appreciation for Krishna in the form of prasadam, it's like the whole taste and everything is going to be completely transformed, isn't it?
Yes, even his eating prasadam was pure. It was a meditation. There is Krishna. This is Krishna. Also says some nice stories of Yamuna Mataji, Yamuna Devi Dasi, late Yamuna, who cooked, and others have spoken about that, who cooked in a way. I mean, there is this story. That's an amazing story. Just to see, because once we advance spiritually, our sense is getting refined. So Jamuna made some chapatis for Srila Prabhupada on a traditional cow dung fire, and from hand-milled grain, like the bridge passes to her. And she offered chapatis to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada immediately said, "Oh, they're cooked on cow dung fire, huh?" When he tasted the chapati, he immediately said, and then he said, "But they could have stayed 2 seconds longer on the metal dish." Just look at that. What is Vaishnav Mataji? What is that called? That plate where you cook the chapatis on?
Lodi. It's called a tava.
A lodi.
The metal tava.
Para.
Tava. T-A-W-A. Tava.
Tava. Exactly. That was the word. I couldn't remember.
Yes.
So Srila Prabhupada said, the chapati is very nice, cow dung fire. And all that is the wheat from hand-grounded wheat from the market or something like that. But it could have stayed 2 seconds longer on the tava. That's that. So even perfection in cooking is there.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic, isn't it? Just get it right. But Yamuna Devi, she was very advanced spiritually. And Srila Prabhupada said she's on the level of Baba. And
she's the Mataji who sang the Govindam
Adi Purusham.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was only doing the tune for Srila Prabhupada, but he liked her singing so much that she was offered the song.
Yes,
but,
he liked her spiritual advancement, her spiritual mood and everything. Huh? And
yes, I read about that. Fantastic.
There are many beautiful exchanges with Srila Prabhupada and Yamuna, and her cooking was absolutely out of this world, and her eating as well. So anyway, I think we have to stop. 9:20. So we'll see you all on Tuesday. I sent some texts out, and hopefully, please do. I have on the list, let's quickly see who's on the list, and I hope that's still accurate. I have on the list Dharm, Varshana, Tulsinath, Bhagavati, Pandava, Ben, Nalini, and Samir. So that's the list for the play. So we shall see. Okay. See you on Tuesday, 7:00. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.